What's up, everyone? Welcome back to TBM Sports. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mark. Happy Friday. Get out of the work week. I'm so excited because this is like Christmas morning for a Notre Dame fan. Quite frankly, if you guys don't have a pulse, we got to go to the hospital, get your blood pressure checked. We got to get you all figured out because we have a home game being played in a December month in Notre Dame Stadium, and not just the 1st of December. We're almost into the beginning of January. So in Indiana, unless you're doing some hunting, ice fishing, or kind of just playing in the snow, this is going to be a fun one to watch if you are a fan of football. Hopefully we don't get a kind of a stinker, but every bone in my body was praying that Notre Dame would have drew Alabama or Georgia in some form or fashion, get them Southern boys up north. And I really do miss that element of college football. It's not intended to be a kind of a slight to anybody down south. I know you guys get snow, but growing up in the Midwest, if you know anything about football, it's just a little different. We don't have the summer months to be running 7-on-7s and you're out there in shorts and a t-shirt slinging it, but you are kind of playing football. Winter coat, really getting tackled in a foot of snow is a different feeling. So I digress, closing the yearbook a little bit, but that's kind of where I'm at for this game. So I'm excited. I just wish that we kind of brought back that old kind of narrative, right? The 1989 game between between Penn State and Miami being played at Penn State. That was one where, for the ages, okay? The Ice Bowl, I think they called it. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at within all this. For me, guys, I'm excited. As a Notre Dame fan, you can just imagine. But it's something where I'm a little bit concerned about this game. Anytime you have a layoff, anytime you have, teams that potentially kind of fit each other well, I guess you would say, in the style of play. I think it's going to be one where I'm worried about a little bit of the layoff more so than anything. But the reason why is Notre Dame was running really hot, and they have covered significantly, basically double-digit winners in their 8 of their last games. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into the numbers. But first, guys, if you've been listening to me for the first 2 minutes of this video, as we've basically unwrapped the bow on this game, let's get into it as we need to. But first, like, comment, and subscribe. When I talk about these videos, about my picks, about these games, I break them down. All I ask for you guys to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, okay? And drop me a comment. I love to shoot the shit with you guys over in Discord, and I'll always try to respond in the comments box, okay? But let's get into it. We are going to talk about the OU, Jacksonville State, and the Tulane, Florida game real quickly. Not going to give insight because I want to spend the majority of this video on Notre Dame. But for Tulane, this number has dropped like a rock. I stay away from Tulane. They're on kind of my no-bet list. So Florida as well. So Florida, this is a game where we look into bowl season. I don't want to touch this game. But the way I look at it is Tulane is the side to be on, but the number has been bet down out of control. Now you can find 10.5s. It's something where it was as low as 8.5 and even as high as 14.5 for the Green Wave. So if you've lost that, if you're kind of stuck in the middle, right now I think this is not bettable for me in this spot. So it would be Tulane or pass, but not at 10.5. Okay. The next game is OU and Jacksonville State. OU's have been a wrecking ball. I kind of like the narrative here with them winning the MAC championship. And they're not just winning games, right? I tip my cap because they got me in that one. I was on the side of Miami. I was wrong, but this is where OU basically comes into the spot, and they took care of business in MAC play. Jacksonville State, they love to run the football. They're going to try to do that under Rich Rod. I think that the side to be on is still OU. The number right now currently, though, if we want to look at it, is a little bit crazy. Not too crazy, but it's one where you have to understand that if you do want to lay a full touchdown with OU, you are getting the worst of it as well. So it's a teaser opportunity for me. If you do want to take it down to a pick 'em, it's a great dance partner partner. But like I said, guys, I'm not taking the 6.5 in this spot, okay? And then let's get into the one that we always talked about, and I'm going to break this one down. Boy, I'm looking at this right now on my screen, and I'm just kind of really upset. We're going to go kind of a new look for this. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this look a little better. We are using Outlier to break these picks down. For my money, the best thing that I use to place a sports bet outside of just, normal everyday kind of my numbers. But in terms of saving me time, organization, finding the best number odds available, there really is nothing better than Outlier for my money, okay? But into this game, we see a total 52.5, juiced up a little bit towards the under. IU is getting 7 now, and the hook is going to be very important. With this game, we do have the potential for a lot of inclement weather, producing a lot of running of the football, producing a lot of long play clocks, producing a lot of low scoring, okay? And a lot of times people attribute, snow towards an under, precipitation towards an under. It's actually more so just the wind. It's the opposite. So make sure you keep an eye out for that wind direction. If we're going sideways, 14 mile per hour or more. In college game, it's a little bit less. That really bothers them. I think that's where you got to really understand that. Thank God they're playing on a turf field, but that field will be frozen. It will be like playing on blacktop. There will be a lot of crack pads. It's gonna be a fun one, right? And I think that the brand of football that Notre Dame plays lends towards their direction a little bit better. I'm going to tell you guys why, and I know a lot about this game, but a couple of things of note. Okay, Indiana is a great team towards the over. We're going to throw trends out of the equation. People coach different, they game plan different, and when you're on a win or go home kind of track, I guess you would say, everything changes. So anything you apply for the regular season, outside of, and even into like conference championships, or some of like the previous game where Indiana had to win against Ohio State, I would potentially use some of that logic, but still not as much, because once you get up big, all you're doing is you're draining that clock. You're trying to go home. Okay, so IU going to the over in 8 of their last 8 games on the road, 52.5 points. That's kind of what we're seeing. I think both of these defenses are very still underrated. A lot of people are saying they can't trust Notre Dame's defense, but they're going to get them in a phone booth. If we do get some snowfall, we get more people in the box, it's going to be a phone booth kind of game, and I'm taking Notre Dame if we're going to play in the box. The best thing that could have happened to that team was losing to Northern Illinois, okay? From a young, you had a young team come into the season with really no expectations, okay? You have a couple great transfers. You have, kind of a normal season in terms of the outlook. You go into Texas A&M, and the Notre Dame kind of faithful, and then the overall sports media nationwide pretty much gives you the Super Bowl, like you won something. Texas A&M didn't even win 4 or 5 games, I don't think. I'm sorry, they lost 4 or 5 games. And that's kind of where I'm at, all right? So that was a really good kick in the face. I think that kind of revamped this squad, and now as you look at them, they've won basically and covered every game since losing Northern Illinois, one of the best cover teams of the season. And that's very hard to do because Notre Dame is a very publicly bet team. And as a fan, I find myself on the other side of the bet more so than not. Okay, so I do like the Fighting Irish. I think 7.5. I mean, if you're taking 7.5, or I'm sorry, if you're taking 7, please understand, okay, that you are going to have to absolutely trust the weather, because this game very, very well, if they do cover the 7, in my opinion, this is going to be an ugly game, okay? And that's kind of where I lend towards. I know a lot of the sharp money is on Indiana. A lot of people are taking Indiana money line. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that one bit. I don't think that is value one way or another. I'm not going to bet against a Notre Dame team at home, okay? Despite the stadium kind of allocation and the ticket setup, I've looked at all that from the numbers from StubHub and SeatGeek and all that. But for my money, guys, I'm not going to bet against a home team playing in the snow in a win or go home spot, where, quite frankly, if we look at the numbers, and this is kind of where it comes down to, I think Notre Dame aligns more with Ohio State than they do with Indiana. And I've said this, two teams in a college football playoff that I don't want to play would be Notre Dame and Ohio State. I actually favor the Big Ten teams quite a bit in this playoff format. I think that their style is very hard to match. I think Tennessee tomorrow, we'll do a video talking about that. I think Tennessee's kind of in for it, man. Playing, I know that's another kind of story for itself, but I don't really think these playing styles align with each other. We saw what Indiana, I know that they kind of had that momentum in the first half, but you look at Notre Dame by the numbers, these are two great, great scoring offense going against a great scoring defense, and kind of flying under the radar. I think it's one where you kind of look at Al Golden and company. I think he really gets to the quarterback. And the thing is about Indiana's quarterback, full disclosure, he's from Canada, okay? So that's kind of a narrative where if we do get a snow game, my man's probably played some football in the snow, so I'm not really concerned about IU in the form of that. Maybe all of the transfers that have come up from a little bit down, but still, that's not too crazy from where they transferred from. But the thing is about Indiana that you have to understand too, there's been a layoff. There's been 2 weeks. We're fine. So this is going to be a game for the ages, in my opinion. If you are a resident of Indiana, I'm sure you're shaking in your boots. So Jimmy Chitwell will have all things on deck for the Hoosiers, and looking forward to it. But for me, guys, I'm telling you straight up, the side in terms of the money line, the values on Indiana, I'm not going to act like I'm not smart. I just don't see Notre Dame losing this game at home. I would love to back the dog. I won't be doing that. I think the value is on Indiana plus 7.5, but value isn't worth a damn if you don't win your bet, okay? And I just think that right now I lean towards the under. I lean towards taking Notre Dame at -7. It won't be a play for me as we look at it because I just don't. Notre Dame has won every game by double digits in their last, basically losing to Northern Illinois, okay? And that's where I'm at. All right, so enjoy the games, enjoy the weekend. I have my family Christmas, kind of Friday, Saturday. So there's going to be some cigars, there's going to be some bourbon, there's going to be hopefully some great football, and my in-laws are Ohio State fans, full disclosure. So tonight's going to be my night. We're going to enjoy some good food, some family, some company, and then tomorrow, hopefully I get to ride my victory into that game and kind of just, kind of have another victory lap and not have to stress it. But I am going to stress it because one of the bets that I did make, I am taking Notre Dame and Ohio State in a money line parlay. I don't like, trusting extra points in the snow, wind, extra points. Kind of get some funky outcomes every once in a while. So for me, guys, those are the kind of the games I like. I do like the Big Ten teams a lot this weekend. Surprisingly, I'm usually the opposite. And also I do favor kind of a little bit of an upset possibly for Clemson. All right, so call me crazy. I'm not on the SMU wagon as much. We'll have a full video breaking down those games a little bit later in the day. But for me, my money, guys, tonight, I like the side of Notre Dame. I know the values on Indiana, and I will be taking the under. I just don't like the narrative where covering the 7, but I also don't want to bet against Notre Dame in the fact and kind of putting it all together. They've covered by, they've not only have they covered, but winning games by double digits. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Kirk Cignetti gets the cigarette put out once again, but it's going to be a fun one. All right, so just hopefully both teams show up and we get a good football game. Let's cash some tickets. If you guys want to know more, I will be over on Discord a little bit later. Also, I don't know if I talked about it earlier in the video because I went down a little bit of a rant, so excuse me for rambling on, but some exciting news for 2025. We are having a website built currently. A lot of cool premium features that we're going to be unveiling. Really trying to ramp up this stuff. All right, enough screwing around. It's kind of at that point too where I got to do better for you guys and have more deliverables, I should say. And that's kind of where I don't like just staying, in the groove, right? So the daily videos, picks, whatever. We got to do more than that. We got to kind of keep improving and don't be complacent out there as a better, stick to your system, stick to your approach. But, you can kind of fall into that trap that everything's perfect when it's not. So always keep moving, keep grinding, and hopefully we come out on the other side tonight. Good luck on your picks, and see you guys over in the Discord. Peace. Remember to subscribe down below. Cheers.